Coming to you from sunny California and the Great White North. Get ready. We are breaking down the obstacles on the Armchair Ninja Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Armchair Ninja Podcast. It is Saturday, November 24th, 2018. My name is Rich, and joining me once again this week is Bijan. How you making out?
I'm good, man, and to all the Americans, happy Gobble Gobble Day.
Oh, that's right. It's Thanksgiving south of the border.
Yep.
You have big plans?
I'm going to eat as much food as I can, man, do some Black Friday shopping. It's going to be fun times.
Nice. I love your Thanksgiving because it means my work gets quieter, right? Everybody's out of the office. Nobody's having computer problems.
Yeah, for real.
Much better.
Now, in Canada, if I remember correctly, you guys celebrate Thanksgiving a little bit earlier, right? But you guys do something similar?
Yeah. We have a similar, not very, very similar, but not quite as elaborate. We don't go as big for Thanksgiving as you guys do. We do it a month earlier. So
Gotcha.
Right now, we're gearing up for Christmas. We get an earlier start on Christmas, basically.
Hey, fun times, man.
Yeah, we even got the snow, the stupid snow that I couldn't shovel today and had to call out for some help for.
Oh, yeah, right. You're acting so upset. You know good as heck well. You're laying back and be like, oh, so unfortunate. I can't shovel all this snow in my driveway. I guess I'm going to have to call some other people to do it. Come on, we know what's up.
It's a mixed blessing, for sure. I got to sort out the rest of the winter. It's not going to be fun. So this episode, we're going to be covering Ultimate Beastmaster Season 3, Episode 8. That's the second semifinals. And American Ninja Warrior Junior, Episode 6. So, good times.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one.
So, let's start with ANW Junior. I know you always want to start with that. I do think that is what everybody's looking forward to most. So, let's start with the 9 to 10 age bracket. We had Bailey Beckstrand.
I'm sorry to cut you off, man, but just overall, even going into it, rough night for the girls, bro. Rough.
Yeah, it was not a great showing this time around. I was thinking that too when I saw the finale and there was all three boys there. I was like, yeah, this episode was not too kind to them.
Yeah, I don't even think it was like it even hit in the finale. Everybody did well. I don't want to disparage any of the girls, you know. It was actually really fun storylines. And once again, even though, how do I say this? I think the competitors were a little bit stronger in the last two episodes. The storylines and everything, the show was still very entertaining for me. But just an overall story, when I look back at this episode, the one thing that stood out was, you know, fun dynamic between the girls competing against each other. But every single time I saw these matchups with the girls and then I saw matchups with the guys, I was like, ooh, there's just like the guys are just a little bit stronger. That said, I still think in the older age brackets, the two older age brackets, I still think the girls are like a girl is going to win both of those in the finals. So not to disparage anybody, everybody did well, but for me, that was like the overall story in total of this episode.
Yeah, there were a few glaring moments where it was like, ooh, they are not moving fast enough at all. We'll kind of get to that as we get through, but there were some really good highlights, even though they may not have won the races. There was especially one baby bull that really stood out this episode, I thought.
I think there was a few fun dynamics, so we'll get into it, man, but thumbs up with the twins. But let's hear about the, what do we got? The youngest age bracket, right? You were saying?
Yeah, the youngest. So the 9 and 10s, we've got Bailey Beckstrom and Anthony Austin. And we had Zack Keenan versus Lila Hodgson. Lila being the baby bull. So the first matchup, Bailey versus Anthony. Bailey had a rough dismount off the spin cycle, like backbreakingly bad looking thing. But she just shook it off and she was fine. Anthony ended up winning it relatively easily. There were not as many close races this episode.
Yeah, I would agree to that. And you know what? Sometimes that's refreshing. I don't need a close race every single time. That said, man, that was a really bad fall.
Jeez.
It was the first time in maybe an ANW Junior where I was really concerned for the athlete. I don't know if I call him athlete or child. Both are the same.
Yeah.
But I was really worried for her. Luckily, it seemed like she was okay, and everything was okay. But man, that was rough.
Yeah. I think the cameraman was talking to her afterwards and said, was it painful or was it just weird? Because she was laughing about the fact that she went backwards into the pool the way she fell, and she's just weird. Like, kids can shake stuff off that a lot of us can't.
You know, everybody around was concerned, though. They're like, it's one of those things where you're kind of like talking to a kid, not trying to embarrass them, but like, are you okay, though? Because we need to know.
But in a heartbreaking moment, but like touching at the same time, we get Zack Keenan versus Lila Hudson next, the baby bull. She's 4'1", the smallest kid in her school. Her little segment was amazing. So, she's just because I'm small, doesn't mean I'm not strong. That whole segment was great.
I really like that story. Like, that's really cool.
Yeah, but she fell early on the course, right? A lot earlier than we've been seeing most people fall. She fell on the dismount of the TikTok, and Drew Dreshel came over to her afterwards and like picked her right, like just picked up her spirit so much and gave her some very practical advice on how to tackle that obstacle. It was just like one of the best moments I think we've seen on ANW Junior.
Little heartbreak for Lila Hodgson, but she's got one more shot at the course, and she's already down with mentor Drew Dreshel.
This is why you didn't go anywhere. So as soon as you get onto it, don't go here. Go here, on the side of it. And then from the side, move a little bit. It's gonna be really easy. So smile, dry off, and we'll go practice. Give me some. You got this, okay?
Yeah, I agree with that. Also, just going into it, when I did see, like, I really liked the storyline, but when they did show her height, I was very interested to see how she would tackle this course, because the entire course for this age group is very much dependent not only on height but also arm length. You know, like after the TikTok, which is very much upon how far you can jump and if you can catch the cables. You know, they have the I believe it's the ring, whatever it's called, right, Rich?
Oh, wait, for that age category, I think the ring toss comes in for the second one, doesn't it?
So what's this? What's the
They have the I-beam.
The I-beam. Okay, I could see her doing that. That's not going to be an issue. Maybe getting on it, but I'm pretty sure she can get on it. But the thing that really worried me, actually, or I was curious about her doing it, was the spin cycle. I think it's not spin cycle. What's that thing called? It looks like baskets.
Yeah, it is spin cycle.
Okay, gotcha.
And we did see that, actually, the fast forward that happened right after that. So she must have gotten past the I-beam because she failed to reach the spin cycle.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm happy. You know, she got further. You know, half of this show, it not is kind of against, you know, each other, but another element of it is just improving yourself, doing better. You know, not necessarily she might be beating the other kids, but I want to see her improve and actually have a good time. And it does seem like she had that personal journey and that personal win. Yeah,
she was great. She has a great personality, great story, and I hope she sticks with Ninja because she'll be great to watch in the years to come.
Yeah, I actually really like her, and I really like her story. As you said, I mean, can you imagine when she's like 18, you know, on ANW proper, and I don't know, maybe she'll get a growth spurt, but if she doesn't, hey, that'll be really cool. She's got a lot of people to look up to. Casey Catanzaro, Barclay Stocka, a few other competitors that are, you know, on the shorter end, but still never let that limit themselves.
Yeah. And then we had the matchup between Zach versus Bailey, which was a really good race. Both were very solid, but in the end, Zach ended up bringing it home for them, meaning that he progressed to the finals. They always show these completely out of order, which I kind of like. They basically set up the finals for the 9 and 10s, set up the finals for the 11s and 12s, and then do the setup for the finals for 13, 14, then kind of circle back to those original competitors. Do you like that, or do you wish they would just kind of wrap up each one?
Oh, no, I like exactly how it is. I feel like if they did a full segment on just the 9 and 10s, including the finals, I don't know. I feel like at a certain point, the episode would feel long. You know, the pacing would be off because you kind of have a conclusion to one part, and then you have to go fully into the other segment where the matchups might how do I say this, like the level of competition might not be there. You know, if we see the 9 and 10-year-olds blow it out and just do amazing in the final, you know, run for them, and then it's followed by, you know, how do I say this, just two competitors that are just taking it easy, or maybe, you know, in the next segment might be a little bit more cautious. It might mess up the pacing a little bit more.
And I think it does a disservice to the younger age groups by not having them towards the end of the episode. It feels like their finale doesn't mean as much, right? Having it at the end of the episode makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, good point. And I don't know about you, man, but like when I watch these shows, I don't necessarily think less of the 9 and 10-year-olds or the 11 and 12-year-olds. Like all of them are their own separate entities to me, and I don't necessarily put the oldest age group above any of the others.
Well, I think that's the genius of the layout, having it, ninja versus ninja this way, because yeah, absolutely. The 9 and 10s are absolutely just as engrossing as the 13, 14s, because it's them competing against each other in their own best times, right? So it makes it compelling no matter what age category and what skill level you're at.
Yeah. And I really like the fact that they do have different cores for each age group. Some are the same, but I do like the fact that they have separations, because mentally, for me at least, I kind of view them all separate.
Yeah. So we're not going to circle back to that. We'll say right here, Zack versus Austin in the final. Zack was really slacking at the beginning. He was just kind of standing around. I thought, oh, what is he doing? Like,
dude,
he completely lost focus.
I am like, yo, now is not the time to be spacing out, bro.
So so Austin took off right away, but then Zack was off like a bullet and just ended up winning it easily. He took 4 seconds off his previous time. Like, really great job.
Yeah, good on him.
After that, we had the 11 and 12s. Blaze Kamaka versus Tate Allen. Tate had a knee tumor that he had to have removed and had this long recovery time. And I got to tell you, I've never felt more for one of these kids than him in that long. He had the cast on and all the recovery time. We're like, hey, this is my guy. This is the guy I want to see go far.
You had a special interest in his win, I guess.
Yes, I did. They were neck and neck. He also trained with Ryan Stratus, which was really cool. Mm-hmm. Tate makes a 9-foot lache to keep up on the ring toss, like just flies from like the midsection of the thing. Amazing. Makes the flywheel transition off in one move, and Blaze fell trying to do the same. Basically, Tate just brought it.
Yeah, next level. You can definitely see he trains and he's confident in his skills, and I don't know, when you see this kind of stuff, it's really fun to watch. No discredit to anybody he was against. I mean, he was just a very, very special athlete this episode. And yeah, I mean, dude, I'm not doing any of that stuff that he's trying. Dude was amazing.
Yeah. I got to say, it sounds like you were you liked this next matchup. I actually was down on it. I don't want to bash on any kids, so I'll be as nice about it as I can be. But Brooke Redmond versus Callie Redmond, the Mirror Twins. This was one of the slowest races I think we've seen. And I think the reason is when you're racing against a stranger, you're going to give it your all. When it's your sister, you're kind of like picking your way through and kind of keeping each other at a more measured pace, let's say.
That's an interesting take on it. I just saw it as, I mean, I could be wrong, but I just figured they don't necessarily, like the show was showing that they train a lot. I feel like they just started training, and I could be 100% wrong, but that was just my observation or guess. Either way, I thought they were just cautious, but instantly, I mean, even by the time they got to the TikTok, actually even before that, when they were going up the steps, I knew, okay, neither of these girls are making it to the finals. They're just not at the level of the boy competitors in this age group for this episode. And no discredit to them, but I really enjoyed their segment of them going back and forth and like learning about Mirror Twins, because I didn't know about that, and I thought it was really fun. And I just wanted to see this fun family rivalry and see who would win from it. So I think very early on, I kind of went away from the aspect of like any enjoyment or I guess any expectations of them excelling past a certain threshold, and I just wanted to see who would win between them two. So I guess I just viewed it differently. But I enjoyed it just based on that. If I was trying to, watch it based on like who's going to beat, whoever in the finals, it's different,
Yeah. I will say, to their credit, both of them finished the course. So, I mean, they do have the ninja skills. And I think, like you said, they're probably newer to the sport. I definitely got that impression, too. So that probably played a pretty big part.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there was really no question what was going to happen in the next rounds. Blaze and Tate just basically took them down. There wasn't a whole lot to say about
destruction. I mean, they weren't even halfway through the course when the guys were up the warped wall. And, it's one of those things. I feel like when they're cast for this episode, I think their story hit a lot more than, them trying to be paired up against the equal talent. And that's fine sometimes. I mean, I don't really mind it.
Yeah. A great final race for this age bracket. Tate versus Blaze in a rematch. Blaze hit the water hard trying to keep up with Tate's long ring dismount. So trying to do the same thing, dismounting from about halfway back on the ring toss, just couldn't quite do it.
Hey, Blaze tried, man. I mean, you got to do something different, right? So good on him.
Yeah. And I think that's one thing we've always kind of given them credit for with Team Ninja Warrior, Ninja versus Ninja. And like sometimes you're going to fall behind and sometimes you're going to fall, but you just got to throw yourself at it and do your best, right? Like you can't discredit someone for trying something new to try to make up that time.
Yeah.
So that brought us to the final age bracket, 13, 14-year-olds, with Blake Feero versus Ricardo Perez. Blake trains with Drew, and it turns out Ricardo, I believe they said later, trains with Josh Salinas out of Iron Sports. So,
I didn't hear that part. Okay.
Yeah, very, very close race. Both really good, but Blake ended up taking it in the end.
Yeah. I mean, this kid was impressive. Both were actually really good, especially with the Devil Steps part. But, I mean, Blake he was really impressive when it came to the laches.
Yeah, definitely. That brought us to Eliza Aiken versus Molly Haywood. Eliza plays hockey, so I was rooting for her. And
so Canadian.
She fell on the second shelf grab, unfortunately. Molly had no issues. She actually looked really strong. I thought she looked really good, but I wasn't quite sure if she'd be able to keep it with Blake or Ricardo. It really just didn't look like she quite had the speed.
Yeah, I mean, it was similar where the girls looked really impressive. They looked good against each other, but I kind of had it in the back of my mind they weren't just going at the speed of the guys.
Yeah, I thought she might have just enough speed to put pressure on them, and they might make a mistake, right? There might be a slip up, which can happen to anybody.
There's always that chance.
Yeah. Blake won easily against Eliza in a fast forward segment, and then we had Ricardo versus Molly, where we got an extended, very unnecessary, and this is from somebody who loves math, dissertation on pi. I really could have done without.
I'll be honest, I fast forwarded that part.
Can't blame you. My computer crashed. My browser crashed at that moment, and I couldn't even blame it. It was like, all right, I get it, but you got to push through.
I'm an English major. I see numbers, and I move on with my life.
I mean, I know like 10 digits, and I mean, if I wanted to push it, I could go further if I really tried, but why? Why would we do that?
Yeah. That's what calculators are for, right?
Yeah, exactly. So Ricardo ended up winning. Molly did pretty well, but she couldn't quite keep up. Bringing it down to Ricardo versus Blake in a rematch for the finale. And I wasn't sure. I know Blake brought it home a little ahead of Ricardo, but I thought Ricardo was good enough that maybe he could make up the time, and he put in a really good effort.
It was actually a really good match.
Yeah, it was probably the best match.
It was interesting because I think they went back and forth. I think the switch up in terms of the person in the lead changed twice in this matchup. I mean, it was really neck and neck, and good on them.
Yeah, Ricardo made a really nice move on the TikTok. He didn't really grab the net. He slid underneath it quickly to get ahead. But Blake made up some speed, made up some time on the Devil Steps and caught him with that dismount on the flywheels, right? That final dismount, not taking the backswing, makes a huge difference, and it was all he needed to bring it home.
Yep, 100%.
So congratulations, Zack Keenan for 9 and 10, Tate Allen for 11 and 12, and Blake Feero for 13-14.
Yeah. Dude, I'm so excited for these finals. I don't know how many episodes are left in terms of these qualifiers, but man, there's going to be some strong finalists.
Yeah, I don't know either. Actually, I wish I'd looked that up. I assume we've got a couple more episodes. I didn't see anything at the end saying, next week there's going to be a finale or semifinals or anything like that. So I guess we're probably going to get at least 2 more to have 8 going into the finals.
That's what I was thinking. It would make sense to have 8 in the finals for each age group, right?
Yeah, I think so. All right, so that was it for ANW Junior. Let's take a look at Ultimate Beastmaster. Pretty good episode.
Semifinals, y'all.
Semifinals, which are much better than the quarterfinals, gotta
Oh
say.
boy. Huge step up.
Yeah, better competitors, better format by a long shot. For those that aren't aware, in the semifinals, they run level 1, 2, and 3. They do not stop. They go as far as they possibly can. They do have the option of using an extra life, so they have checkpoints along the way. If they want to resume from the last checkpoint after they fall, they can choose to do that. But top 3 scores move on to the finals.
Yeah, it's fun. They give every single semifinalist like a short little video. That way you can, get a refresher on who they are. You get interested and invested in their storylines. And I think Ultimate Beastmaster has always been really good at showing people storylines. It never feels too long or hammed in, or at least that's my opinion. So I really enjoy everything about these semifinals. We get such a clean, edit of everything. And man, there was a lot of drama in this episode. There were 2 competitors in particular that I was rooting for, and I was interested. I was invested.
Yeah, I think we had the same ones we were rooting for. Just for our brief discussion before we started here, I'm pretty sure you were with me on Hector Martinez.
100%. That was my numero uno, man. Love that guy.
But you also liked, I'm going to get the wrong guy, I think. Mark Greenham, I think it was, from Australia with the dreadlocks, right?
Oh, actually, well, that'd be my third. I really like that guy too. He's just so nice and such a joyful guy. Like, he was rooting everybody else on. He was so positive. Seems like such a charismatic guy. Yeah, actually, now I think about it, there was 3 that I was rooting for because I really like that guy also.
So who was the other guy?
The other one, I forget his name, but he was the former military guy, like the veteran.
Oh, that would be Corbin Mackin.
Yeah, that guy was really cool. Just because, for me, his storyline was so strong. He seems like such a good guy. He isn't as charismatic as the other 2, because Hector is also super charismatic. He just exudes charisma on the television screen, like you're watching. This guy is a little bit more of an everyday man, but seems like such a nice guy, and what a powerful story he has. So,
it's funny. I just realized, to spoil the ending here, all 3 of those guys moved on, so I guess you made a good picks.
So Peacock Dude made it. I call him Peacock Dude, the super positive guy. I didn't know he made it.
Yeah, the guy, he... well, we'll get to it, I guess. We'll take a look at some of these competitors.
Oh, man.
Here.
He's so fun. Yeah, then big thumbs up to this episode. Even more. You get a ding. Oh, wow. Hang on. That was a fail. I got a cord on my bell. All right, let's try that again. You get a ding. Good job, Ultimate Beastmaster. I mean, it's not up to the show, but good on the guys that actually are awesome.
We saw the return of Breakneck, I guess, before we even get into it. I love that obstacle. I think it's a really, really good and interesting obstacle. It's got 3 spinning wheels with handles coming down like pistons, and some of them will drop down as they're trying to swing across them. And it's impossible to tell which one it is because they're spinning around so much. There's no real hint until you grab hold of it and it starts to move.
Yeah, it's fun because it does have that element of surprise to it, but also, in my opinion, it's the strongest out of all the the interchangeable obstacles from stage 1. I think this is the strongest. It's really fun. It does have like a step up in difficulty, but it doesn't ever seem unfair. There's a few of them where it's like, well, nobody's getting through that. This one definitely seems doable, but it does take a lot of strain on your body. So I enjoy it.
Yeah, I think you said that really well. I think that's exactly it. It's tough but fair, exactly what we want to see in an obstacle. Not reach dependent, not height dependent, just tough.
Yeah, because, if it's a semifinals and everybody's failing on stage 1, that's not fun. Like, what's that deadbolt one where they go sideways and nobody was even getting close to finishing that thing? Like, yeah. We don't need that in the semifinals, man.
Yeah. I don't think I want to go through every single run. But we had some interesting things here happen. A few of them fell on the mag wall, fell early in level 1 or later in level 1, I guess, to be fair, and chose to use the checkpoint. And I agreed with every time they did that, right? So they would fall on the mag wall or fail on the transition. And even though they looked tired, with the level of competitor, you got to go again, even though, and it really didn't work out for them because they 2 of them fell jumping to the chain earlier in the level, right at where their checkpoint was. So they went down to 15 points, which basically meant they were out.
It wouldn't have mattered, though. If they didn't elect to it, they wouldn't have gone, moved on anyways. And I respect the fact that they tried.
Yeah, I don't think they had another choice. And like you said, in the end, that was the right choice to make because they would have failed anyway.
Yeah. I mean, sorry, but to throw shade at the last episode, but if you're failing on the first stage and electing not to, go again, poo-poo. Just saying.
It was a little sad that a few of these guys had failed early on in level 1 their first time around. It's like, oh, last time he fell on the dread bolts or the like just on some of the earlier obstacles. Like, oh, he managed to make it past the what was it, the gearhead. I was like, oh my god, he fell on the gearhead and he's in the semifinals.
Yeah, it's a little weird, right? But hey, you know what? People have moved on this episode. I'm not hating. So it's one of those things, but I don't know. In terms of we're just talking about runs that really stood out to us, right?
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, Hector's, I gotta say, his run was so engrossing because you just expect a higher level. It's kind of like when Drew Dreshel ran. I mean, that's a little hyperbolic, I guess, but he for me, he was a step up in competitor, so I really paid attention when he was running, and he had a slip up when it came to those oh god, those elevator things, the treadmill things. Dreadmills, yeah. So he was struggling with the dreadmills because he's a shorter competitor, and that actually brought a lot of drama to it because I think he never got past the final dreadmill, right?
No, he didn't. He fell the second time as well, so he had to use his life. Or he didn't have to, but he chose to go again. And even though he looked really strong through everything right up to then, like he was 100% on board, doing a fantastic job on every obstacle, he just couldn't make that leap. And when he tried a second time, he just still couldn't do it. And when he explained it afterwards, he said his legs were just too tired.
Hey, I don't blame him, man. He was on those things for a while. But, what was really cool is that he went early. He was early. I think he was the second run in the episode. So it brought a lot of drama because he was somebody I really wanted to move on. And every time other people ran, I didn't necessarily want them to do poorly or anything, but I was always worried for Hector. Like, oh, is Hector going to get pushed out and this far on? I mean, that would be so unfortunate to see the one competitor this entire season that completed stage 3 not even make it to the finals. And, all fairness, I'm not trying to call that cheap or anything. I actually like the format of the fact that he has to earn a spot in the finals. But, yeah, for me, I was really rooting for him, and it did bring an element of drama for me. That said, also, a big shout out to him for actually going again. He made it so far into stage 2, and he risked losing all those points going again for those extra points. So good on him.
Yep, Hector is probably my favorite for the finals. I really like him. I think he's got a solid base of ability. He never looks really that winded or that like he's struggling. And like you said, he's the only one that we've seen beat level 3. So he's got to be the favorite.
I mean, it all depends on the format of the finals. We just don't know how they're going to break down the points, how stage 4 factors in, or what it is that they're doing for the finals. But if it is a cumulative thing where stage 3, like your performance in stage 3 matters, I could see this guy going very far. It's one of those things where it's like this season's a whole big question mark of how they're going to do things. But yeah, he has a very good shot.
Yeah. And one of the other guys, the dreadlocks guy from Australia,
Peacock,
he ended up beating level 1, but holding his arm at the end. It actually ended up hyperextending his elbow.
That was
continued
nasty.
On.
Bro,
yeah,
you saw that slow-mo? Like, they had a slow-mo shot of it, and it looked nasty.
Yeah, they taped him up, and he continued on, though. Even though it looked like that was probably good enough for him to move on, he kept going. Ended up failing at the same point that Hector did, failed on the transition off the dreadmills, and ended up in first place because he actually was 2 points ahead. So one of the mega thruster, he hit it faster, I guess, gave him those 2 points. So good on him. Even with the hyperextended elbow, he moves on and does that well on level 2.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that really made me... I already liked the guy so much, but the fact that he hurt himself and continued moving on and giving this show a try. I mean, what amazing heart. And maybe it might have not even been the smartest thing for him. But I respect the fact that he really made such a fun, just made the show fun, in general. And I don't know. I just really hope that doesn't play a major factor in his performance in the finals. He said these types of things can heal up pretty quickly, but I have to imagine the finals are going to be taped the next day. So it's it's not going to heal that quick, bro.
Yeah. So we'll have to keep an eye out for that in the finals and see if it seems to be a factor.
Mm-hmm.
And Corbin Mackin ran last, ended up going out on the mag wall, but he was fast enough and went far enough to get third place. So wisely did not use his second life to try again.
Yeah, at that point, you don't need to.
So good episode. I enjoy the semifinals. I wish the regular format was even close to that good.
Yeah, I mean, I have a feeling, I'm really excited for the finals. I have a good feeling about the finals. I think it's going to be really entertaining. And that fourth stage is ominous as all heck. It's weird. Do you think the finals are going to be everybody just running stage 4? Do you think it's going to be a whole transition thing where they whittle out, because they do have a lot of competitors going into the final. It's going to be 6 competitors. How do you think they're going to do it?
I think they're going to go back to the old format, if I had to guess. So I would think they've got 6 competitors. They can give them lots of screen time and do one level at a time, knocking off, 2 people the first time around. Or maybe one person after level 1. I don't know. And then one per level until they get down to just the 2 of them for level 4. I'm not sure.
I mean, I have to imagine that's the way it's going to go because they can't do the same format with the semifinals because there's a good chance nobody's going to make it to stage 4. And how lame would that be? Stage 4, it's finally happening and nobody even makes it there. Maybe one person,
Seriously? You can't possibly be making that criticism with the number of seasons we watch of ANW and no one ever touches stage 4.
Touche. That's true. That's very true. But the way they've been hyping this up, it kind of seems like they're promising somebody, we're going to see stage 4 being run. So I have to imagine it's going to be, the way you said it originally, where they're going to be breaking down everybody competing stage 1, 2, 3, and then 4, probably with 2 competitors in stage 4.
I bet they accumulate points too. I'm holding out hope that they accumulate points.
Man, I have a bad feeling they don't, but man, would that suck to see.
Yeah. Great episodes from both. Thoroughly enjoying this so-called off season. Lots to talk about, lots to enjoy.
Yeah, fun stuff, man. And on my TV, I'm seeing a lot of trailers for, or ads, I should say, for Titan games. So, man, it never ends for us.
Nope, it doesn't. And we do have a surprise guest coming on in a couple of weeks, which we've got to get sorted out. I'm not sure which episode it's going to be, but we will be covering a more traditional Japanese show, not Sasuke, though.
Ooh, intriguing.
All right, so that's it for this week. If you'd like to reach out to me, you can reach me as rich@ninjapodcast.com. I am at Ninja Podcast on both Instagram and Twitter. And Bijan, how can they reach you?
Hit me up at Twitter and Instagram at Bijan151. That is Bijan 151.
All right, thank you all for listening, and I hope you have a fantastic week.
Peace and love, y'all. Break a leg, Rich.